Hi, it's Penny here. Welcome to another reading vlog. So I just wrapped up my previous reading vlog where I talked about these two books, which I have started already, and I will be continuing this vlog. I will also have an audiobook. My main goal for this week is to wrap up all of my August. Wrap up all of my August reading by the end of the week, because August ends at the end of the week. And then I want to be able to go into the Magical Readathon kind of with a clean slate. Now, I'm pretty sure there are books from my August TBR I'm not going to get to, and I'm just going to forget about those and at least try to finish the ones that I'm already in progress with. So the one that is going the best is The Spear Cuts Through Water. This is such a strange book, and I love strange books, to be honest. So this is written kind of like a story about a dream, about a play, about this kingdom that is ruled by this emperor who is the child of the moon, and kind of this escape attempt, or an assassination attempt on the emperor, an escape attempt by the moon empress herself. And at the moment I'm kind of following these two young boys as they try to help the moon empress get where she wants to go. And the overall plot is moving forward. I'm enjoying it, but what I'm most enjoying is getting the story told to me in such a strange way. It's kind of at the base level told in second person, which is almost a separate story being told about someone in more modern times than the main story. Is it actual modern times? I don't think so, but there has been mention of radios and telephones and things like that, but I don't think television. Anyway, that part of the story is being told as a you story, so in second person, and it's a story about this boy and his brothers and his relationship with his grandmother, and her stories about the old country, which I'm assuming is where this main story is set, but possible that there's some trickery going on. This is the kind of book I'm sure could trick you so easily. Anyway, the main thing is, so far I'm loving this, so I will keep you updated on it. I am about 200 pages in, and it is a 500 and something page book, so I think it's very doable for me to finish this by Sunday. It's currently Monday, so let's hope so. The other thing that I picked up is one I'm loving less. So The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. I managed to get it from the library on my ebook, so I've been reading it mostly just in the morning when I wake up, before we turn on the lights. But also, I'm only 2 and a bit chapters in, and that bit is the clue about how I'm feeling about it. So basically, I had read the first chapter of this in a try a chapter project, and I really liked it. I loved the way it was describing this kind of procession, this parade of this new emperor, and this assassination attempt, and these young boys kind of witnessing everything. I really enjoyed the first chapter. The second chapter instead was completely different. I've just ranted about it actually in my last vlog, so maybe I won't rant again here. We'll read a few more chapters and see if it keeps telling it in it's not telling me scenes anymore, it's just telling me what's happened in the past of these legendary characters, and I just am not being made to care about them at all. So I'm very worried about whether I'm going to like this. And I've been planning to read this for ages, but it is also true that if I decide I don't like it, that would be a very long series off my TBR, so I wouldn't entirely be sad about it. But I guess we'll see. I definitely cannot finish this by the end of the week. So I think my main thing by the end of the week is to decide whether I want to continue it. And then I might have to, because this has a long hold queue at the library, I might have to let it return itself and then try again later, or pick it up again later. But I mean, this isn't the kind of book you can push through in a short amount of time, regardless of what I'm doing with it. So as well, audiobooks. I started one this morning while I was hanging out the washing, although I barely got into it. So Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. This was not on my TBR, but somehow I managed to see that it was available at the library, and I knew I did want to pick it up, so I thought I would get it. It's something about, it's kind of like a mystery thriller, but some kind of time loop element to it. I love a good time loop. So I think this woman is waiting for her just turned 18-year-old son to come home, but when he comes home, she sees him stab a guy. And so then she's trying to work out why has her lovable son that she loves so much done that. And I think when she goes to sleep, she wakes up yesterday, and then every time she keeps waking up further and further in the past, and she's trying to work out what is it that happened to cause her son to do this. Anyway, I haven't actually even got to the time loop bit yet, so maybe when I bring in the washing, which I'm going to do once I finish doing whatever filming I'm doing today. So that's only a 10-hour audiobook, and I want to believe I could also get to another audiobook, but also that's probably delusional. So we'll try and be realistic and just aim to finish this at the moment. I'm just trying to do a quick update for you guys, and people keep walking past. Anyway, I'm just gonna be brave, I guess. It's ridiculous. Anyway, I don't have that much to update you on. I only read a tiny bit last night of Thus Spear Cuts Through Water. Very intense at the end of the first day, and I'm now into the second day. And there's been some interesting developments. I just like, I don't know, in some ways the plot feels quite slow, but whenever we get like a weird little magical thing, it's really cool. So I'm still enjoying that, even though I haven't gotten much further. Then as well, I've just come to the library. That's where I always have been when I update in this spot. And I ran here. So I'm now a third of the way through Wrong Place, Wrong Time. I'm still enjoying it. I wouldn't say I'm loving it. Sometimes there's a little bit of humor that I just wish it was more of a serious story. But it is. But every now and then, the humor that there is, I don't appreciate. I don't know. I feel like that's overplaying the humor, but there were just a few moments. As well, we did get the second perspective of this young police officer, which is obviously going to play into it. And there's been a whole bunch about like a missing baby and a whole bunch of stuff. So I think the plot could get quite twisty, which I'm looking forward to. Ding dong time. Is it 11 o'clock already? I got to get going, really. Yep, that's going to be 11 ding dongs. Oh no. Anyway, I never know whether to keep talking over the ding dongs or what. Anyway, I will listen to Wrong Place, Wrong Time for the rest of my walk home, and I should get at least halfway through. Then the only other thing I wanted to do is watch these people stare at me weirdly. Yeah, not really. I'm never sure, like, how far away do people need to be to not be listening in to me? Anyway, they're kind of over there. Let's just update. I wanted to complain about the Grace of Kings. I only read another chapter. This one, at least, we kind of did get into a scene a bit, but it seems like one of the main characters is going to be this young boy that's kind of a little piece of shit, don't really like him, taking advantage of people, what a dick. And then right at the end of the scene, there's this bit where someone's muttering under their breath and somebody else is like hearing it through a palanquin window, and I'm like, really? They're muttering under their breath. Unlikely you're going to overhear it. And then also they're seeing that he had like wetness in his eyes because he's like feeling emotional. And I'm like, really? Like, it was just so unrealistic. And just the whole way the scene is written I don't like the character. It's not pulling me in emotionally. I'm just feeling very negative about it. Will I read a few more chapters? I think so, but it's going to really have to do something if it's going to convince me to continue. So I have my doubts. I have my doubts. Okay, so I have not been doing a good job at updating this vlog, but I've been doing not a terrible job at reading, I think. So Spear Cuts, I keep saying, I mean The Spear Cuts Through Water. This I'm up to nearly 400 pages. I think I'm halfway through the 4th day. And I'm still really loving it. I think I just really like the way the story's written. The 3rd day was actually written from first person, but from the perspective of the moon, because of course. And I love the moon, so that's just an added reason for me to love this. And the plot is also like really strange. It feels very mythological, and there's these really strange magical things happening that I'm really loving. But also at its core, it's about the experience of these young men, and I think it's a lot about family. I feel like books this strange, sometimes you can't really tell what it was really about until you get to the end. But the moon's family, very toxic. I'm enjoying this a lot though. So still hopeful that I can finish it by the end of the week. It's Friday. Did I say it's Friday? So it should be doable, but often I don't read much on Friday and Saturday, so we'll see. As well, what else? The Grace of Kings. I've decided I'm not doing it. I'm going to DNF this. It's just not enjoyable. I don't like the writing. I don't like the character that we're getting as the main character so far. And I've read a bunch of reviews, and it seems like the people who really love it love like all of it right from the beginning. And even if those people are going to say, oh, it gets better further in, I don't think it's going to get better to the point where I'm going to love it. I think a lot of the people that really love this book and this series love the epicness of the world, but it's just China, you know? So I don't know. I'm not convinced about it. Also, it doesn't seem like there's much actual fantasy in the world, and that's just going to really disappoint me. I know for a fact. So it's more of a historical fiction written in a way that I don't enjoy. And I just think I should get out before I get too into it, because it's not going to be for me. So I'm done with that. That was on my shelf for like 2-3 years. Oh dear. Very sad. Anyway, the other thing, since I put that ebook aside, I did pick up Censor by Junji Ito, which is like a graphic novel, manga, horror manga. I'm not necessarily loving it. It doesn't have really high reviews, but I think I should be able to get through it kind of quick. And I kind of just have a bunch of Junji Itos from the library that I just kind of want to just blast through so that I have an idea of like his full work. I think with this, I'm not willing to push through because I know it's going to take me hours and hours and hours, and the whole series is going to take me just forever, so I'm not willing. But Junji Ito, I'm willing to try it a little bit more. Censor is like about this magical hair that's like falling from the sky, and this woman discovering it in the middle of it, and then there's all these kind of cults based around it. It's kind of strange. I think I'm about a quarter of the way in, so we'll see where it goes with that. It's a little bit strange, probably not my favorite kind of horror. Just it's a bit like he's doing weird things for the sake of them being weird rather than them really feeling organic within the plot. Maybe that's my problem with it, but it's okay. Then audiobooks. So I finished off, I keep forgetting the name of it, Wrong Place, Wrong Time. I think for a thriller, it was okay. I kind of haven't been enjoying thrillers lately. I think a lot of the themes it was dealing with, like about family life and like this woman's love for her son, it's fine, but it doesn't particularly interest me. And the ending, the very ending, was a little bit cheesy for me, to be honest. But I did like the way the reveals were being done. I was kind of just always figuring it out a little bit before we were definitely told. And I think that makes it feel very satisfying. And the time loop was okay. I will say there were a few bits where she would kind of be like, oh, that's right, that doesn't happen till yesterday. And I'd be like, come on, you've been in this time loop for a few days now. You should have a general idea of how to keep things in your head better. Anyway, since I finished off that, I did pick up The Memory Police by Yoko Ogawa. So this, I do have the physical book from the library. I also have the audiobook from the library. To be honest, I don't know if I'm going to love this either, but again, it's a pretty short audiobook, so I should be able to finish it by the end of the week. It kind of, to me, is feeling a lot like The Giver, which I did like The Giver, so that should be a good sign, but I'm not sure if I'm in the mood. It's also kind of feeling very YA dystopian, so I'm just not sure if this is going to be something I'm going to love, but I think I'm like a third of the way in, so we'll see what it does with the ideas. Basically, this is about this island. I don't really have a gist of how big this island is, but every now and then things will be like removed from people's memory and they can no longer understand them. And the main character's mother used to still remember things, and she was keeping some of these things that have been removed from people's memory. And when they're removed, they remove all of the thing as well. But like the mother had, for example, some perfume, and she remembered what perfume was like, but when she let her daughter smell it, her daughter couldn't really even experience the smell anymore. I don't know. It's quite strange. I think what I'm struggling with is believing that this is a real thing, like fully comprehending how this is really working. Even though it's spent a lot of time trying to explain to me how it works, I still don't really get it. So we'll see. This is one a lot of people really love though, so I'm going to try it. As I said, This is a pretty quick audiobook to get through, so if I don't like it, I haven't lost a lot of time. Unlike this, if I keep going. So, really though, the main thing that's getting my reading or keeping me motivated for reading at the moment is this one, because I'm loving this. Oh, don't fall over now. I don't know what I'm doing with my hair. She could brush it, but she won't. Okay, so I ended up getting kind of sick over the weekend, and now I'm using all my motivation to film this update. I'm just feeling very unmotivated. Is it because I'm sick, or is it just general lack of motivation? Probably both. So anyway, I have though managed to finish both of these. It is already the 1st of September, so technically I failed in terms of finishing things off for the end of the month, but like one day isn't too bad, and my goal was to finish things off so I could start the Magical Readathon on time. However, I'll just start it in like September of everyone else's time zone, and that'll be fine. So these two books. Firstly, The Spear Cuts Through Water. I will say I thought the ending was a little bit disappointing. I still liked it, but I think given everything that happened leading up to the end, I thought I was going to like it more. I maybe thought it was going to do something cleverer than it did, but for me, the ending was really lacking focus a bit. And there was also quite a lot of action, and I'm not really necessarily an action fan. It depends when it comes to endings, but for this, I thought it was going to do more. There was also like a big section where it was like giving us the details of like a certain, or like the future characters' ancestry and how that linked back to the past characters. And while I think that fit quite well with like the oral history kind of concepts in here, I just found it really boring. I don't know, I loved a lot of what this book did. And I will definitely think about a lot of the things that happened in here and the way that this was written. But I don't know if I ever felt emotionally connected to the story. And there's a bunch of things that were kind of played with that I wish it had done more with. And I wonder if like the writing style meant that certain things were told in a certain way, which I did enjoy, although sometimes maybe it was dragged out a bit. I wish maybe that had been cut down a bit so we could have explored some of the other bits that I wanted to explore a little bit more. But once again, we must remember, authors don't write books specifically for me. So obviously I know a lot of people love this, and I also loved it. I haven't rated it yet. I have this mirror board where I kind of rate things. I always put you in front of my computer and then I can't look at it at the same time as look at you, or bits of the screen I can't see. I have a mirror board where I rate my books kind of relative to other books. I mean, probably it still gets 4.5, but it's not quite a 5-star new favorite, but it was really good. It did some really great things. I can see why this is so popular with people, but I will also say if you don't like experimental writing, you're gonna hate this. So that's something to keep in mind. It's quite slow and playing with a lot of strangeness. Also, I looked at some other reviews. People were complaining a lot of it being like really graphic descriptions. And I didn't think it was that bad, but maybe that's just I don't notice these things. Maybe I have a high threshold for that kind of thing. If you do not, then again, maybe you need to avoid this. I don't know. I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, sure, it describes the exact details of people dying, but that's just facts. I don't know. I kind of appreciated it. I think the thing with this as well, like it has this very experimental writing style, but it's not necessarily like a really beautiful writing style. Even it's like very stylistic, but not necessarily in a beautiful way. Maybe some people would disagree with me, but it does really feel throughout this like a story that's being told to you. And it's always kind of working on multiple levels, which I liked. So I had a great time with this. Thank goodness, since the rest of this reading vlog and my last reading vlog haven't really gone that great. I've mostly been reading either like mediocre books or like disappointing books. The Memory Police unfortunately goes a bit on the disappointing side, I will say. So a large part of this I read on audiobook, but I did also pick up the ebook. My ebook holder had said it wasn't going to come through for ages, but it happened to come through, so I thought I'll read it that way as well since I'd finished this. And I needed a morning book. I don't know my decision process anyway. I did find I enjoyed it better in ebook, although the boring bits were more of a struggle. So, pros and cons, I guess. Also, I was often very bored in this. It didn't explain very well what was happening. There's a bit where she's like hiding this man who has the ability to remember things even when they've disappeared from the world. Do we ever get a good explanation of what disappeared really means, or like how it's even working? Not really. But anyway, this one man that she knows can remember things, and she makes a plan to hide him away in her house without like talking to him like, do you want to do this? And he has like a wife who's pregnant, and she's made a plan for him to come and live in her house in hiding. And then where that goes was not appropriate. I didn't appreciate it. I actually didn't really like the main character. She was so frustrating to me all the time. And really, the plot didn't do much. Until, like 90% of the way in, something got disappeared that was actually interesting. And I wish that had happened at like 20% in or something, like way earlier. Like I set it up, and then have this like crazy thing disappear and look at the impact of that. Oh, it could have been crazy. Such a missed opportunity. As well, I wish it had gotten more into like the memory police. In the title, right? We hardly learn anything about the memory police. And since I guess at least part of the theme of this book is about government control of your thoughts and your voice, and like if the government has so much control over your thoughts and your voice, which is pretty much all you are, like all you are is your memories and your voice, I guess this book is trying to say. And if the government controls that, then do you lose who you are? Like, I can see the message of this book being really cool, but there wasn't enough of that government organization. Even the fear of them never felt that large in the world. So I think this had a lot of potential, but for me, most of it, I was pretty bored. I can see maybe why people like it. Maybe if I'd read it in school, I would have thought it was really cool. But at this point, I've read other similar things. It was fine. It was fine. But the amount I'd heard some people rave about this made me think it might be better. So, can I remember what I read this week? I read this... Well, the most disappointing thing I read this week was... Where did I put it? Doesn't matter. Grace of Kings, most disappointing. This was probably the next disappointing. Then Wrong Place, Wrong Time was okay. This was definitely the best read of the week. And I think that's everything I read, which honestly isn't that bad, although was it actually a week? I'm not sure. Or maybe just an extra day? That's not too bad given how unmotivated and what I've been feeling. But also, like, I got sick. I did read a bit while I was sick, though. It wasn't like I can't read kind of sick. It was like, let me just lie on the couch and read kind of sick, which is why I managed to finish this off in this. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this reading vlog. Do let me know if you've read any of these books, what you think about them, if you love The Grace of Kings, especially, I don't know, I don't want to be convinced to read it, but tell me why you think you liked it and I didn't. Did I not give it enough of a chance? I think I did. Anyway, do subscribe if you'd like to see more of my bookish videos. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are doing well, and I will see you next time.